In this video we are going to talk about food, more precisely about the Menú del Día, a dear friend you should be familiar with if you are planning a road trip to Spain. Hola, I am Tony Galvez from Road Trip Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. We turn to food today. The Menú del Día is a superb Spanish invention. If you are planning a road trip to Spain, you are likely to come across the Menú del Día, and it is for that reason we thought having an entire video on the subject would be a great idea. So if you're ready, let's hit the road. So let's start from the basics, a definition of Menú del Día, a term that can be shortened to simply menú. Literally, it means today's menu or the day's menu. If we reduce it to the core of it, it could be described as a supercharged set menu, set lunch, or set meal, whatever you want to call it. It is a set menu with quite a few additional benefits and a long list of subtle differences that, in our humble opinion, turn the Spanish Menú del Día into a superior offering. In other words, it is a full meal for which you will pay a fixed price. Let's have a look at the essential elements that define the Spanish Menú del Día. First of all, it is a widespread offering. The majority of, but not all, restaurants in Spain offer a Menú del Día of one sort or another. So wherever you go, you can count on finding a Menú del Día. Restaurants serving the Menú del Día tend to announce it on the external side of the restaurant, but if in doubt, ask, ¿Tienen Menú del Día? Do you serve Menú del Día? Second feature, it is an affordable way of, on the one hand, having lunch, and on the other hand, getting in touch with the local culinary traditions. Nowadays, the most common price range for a Menú del Día goes from 10 to 15 euros, and anything bordering on 20 euros or more should offer ingredients or preparations of a superior quality. Feature number 3, it's offered at lunchtime, which in Spain tends to go from 1:30 p.m., that would be a very early lunchtime in Spain, till roughly 3:30 p.m. In tourist destinations, restaurants tend to make adaptations, opening at an earlier time, catering for early birds. You might find a few restaurants offering a Menú del Día at dinner time, but it is not common, and the price for that dinner menu will likely be higher than the lunch menu. So this is important. If you go off the beaten track, you are unlikely to be able to have lunch at 1 p.m. The fourth feature of the Menú del Día is that it is offered from Monday to Friday. Again, you might find restaurants offering a Menú del Día during the weekends, but always at a higher price. Feature number 5. The Menú del Día is a 3-part meal, and it will always include a starter, known in Spanish as primer plato, a main course known as segundo plato, and a dessert known as postre. First, you will be served the primer plato. When you finish it, you will get the segundo plato, and to round up the meal, you will get the postre. It is a sequence. You will always be able to choose from several options. As a bare minimum, 3 choices for starters, 3 main course choices, and 3 choices for dessert, but it is far from uncommon to find much more generous choices, 10 starters, 10 mains, for instance. And the truth is that choosing between so many delicious options sometimes becomes a true challenge. An insider tip: if there is nothing you like from the selection of main courses, you can always order 2 starters instead. Most restaurants won't object to you doing so. So we need to qualify what primer plato starter means in Spain, as the notion is slightly different here in the country. A starter, which we call primer plato, literally first course, is in actual fact a full course, as filling as the main course. Spanish meals are formed by 2 full courses, one known as primer plato and the other one as segundo plato. And what can you expect for starters? there will nearly always be a salad, and here vegetarians should be aware that most Spanish salads are not veggie salads. Yes, they can come with cheese, tuna, egg, or even ham. Pasta dishes are a common sight too, as well as vegetables. Rice dishes are quite common in Spain as well. The segundo plato, literally second course or main course, tends to be a generous serving of meat. Could be pork, beef, lamb, or even rabbit. Or fish. French fries are a frequent sighting along the meal. It is interesting because no matter where you are in Spain or the distance from the nearest sea, there will always be at least one fish offering on the menu, reflecting the presence of fish on the regular diet of the Spaniards. Finally, you will get the dessert, el postre. There will always be some fresh fruit, an industrial ice cream, and maybe traditional local desserts. Your best hope is for homemade desserts rather than the industry-processed desserts. Ask the waiter if the dessert es casero, is it homemade, to find out whether the restaurant makes the desserts or simply buys them ready from the industry. Another feature, more often than not, the price of the menu includes the drinks. But we have seen quite a lot of change in this regard during the last decade. Before the financial crisis of 2008, menus were quite generous, including water and beer or wine. If you asked for wine, you would be brought to the table a full bottle of wine. Things have changed. You can still have wine for free as part of the menú del día, but more often than not, it will be a glass of wine rather than a full bottle. It is still a sweet deal, but nothing like it used to be in the past. Another feature, in 90% of the cases along with the dishes, you will get complimentary bread. Bread is an essential element of any Spanish meal. We Spaniards do not contemplate the possibility of a meal without bread. Restaurants that make an attempt to be friendly to their customers will also throw some sort of light snack as a courtesy. A common such courtesy is a plate of olives or a light appetizer. Unless stated otherwise, and contrary to what happens in other countries, these treats are complimentary. As for coffee, most menus used to include coffee in the past. What we see today is that you might still find a menú del día including coffee, but what is becoming common practice is to give you the choice of having dessert or coffee, not dessert and coffee. If that is the case, order the dessert as part of the menu, and if you like to have some coffee, pay it as an extra. It will come out cheaper. As mentioned earlier, the price you pay for your meal is the price shown on the menu. Read it carefully to understand what's included and what's not included. The final price should include VAT, which in Spanish is IVA. If IVA is not mentioned, it is because it is included in the price. Only dishonest restaurant owners do not include IVA on the price. Now a valuable tip on regional food. When you get the menu, don't be afraid of asking the waiter what is typical from the region you are visiting. Very often, menus include dishes that are typical from the area, and it is for that reason the Menú del Día provides a great opportunity to get acquainted with the flavors of Spain. So ask the waiter, ¿Qué es típico de aquí? What's typical from here? In other countries in Europe, there are other similar proposals to the Spanish Menú del Día. But quite frankly, we don't know any that offers a concept as superb as the Spanish one. For one fixed price, you get a 3-course meal plus drinks, which nearly always include wine. Go beat that. So when you are road tripping through Spain, make the most of the Menú del Día. You will find it on the large cities and on the small villages. The Menú del Día is not necessarily geared towards tourists. Locals take advantage of it as well. So if you have any questions about the Menú del Día in Spain, use the commentary box below. We'll be delighted to help. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. We'll be really grateful for it. And if you are new to the channel, take the opportunity to subscribe using the button that will appear shortly on screen. We'll see you soon on another video with tips for a road trip in Spain or Portugal. Até mais, hasta la próxima, see you soon.